My daughter's a fucking on fire. Those snobs in the uptown don't care whether we eat dirt down here or die on our own shit. Snobs in the uptown don't care whether we eat dirt down here or die on our own shit.
Now my brother's in jail, just because the bloody guards wanted to have someone guilty to show.
City. Freed of hope, maybe.
That's Cairo. Yesterday, the cartel went out on another foray. I saw my neighbour a bit later. It was
City. Freed of hope, maybe.
Greetings, Dorangras.
I'm Chiron. Belhahad sent me to see you. He said you're looking for capable men.
Are you a capable man, then?
I defeated Borak.
Kangros Garashvox! That was you.
Just me, myself, and I.
Then the city guard could really use you. Interested in an assignment?
What kind of assignment are you offering?
The brothel in Kreutzer Alley. Its owner is earning so much money now that the Kreutzer cartel is becoming interested. Protection money, you can.
So, the Kreutzer cartel.
There are also some strange rumors about the services offered there. Disgusting rumors, if you ask me.
Tell me.
Let's say the girls there are maybe not as full of life as they could be.
Who in all the hells would pay for that kind of service?
I don't know, but a beating will be enough to bring the brothel owner to his senses. And of course the guard won't be stingy either. We pay well. So, can I count on you, lad?
So I'm supposed to beat up the brothel's owner?
You should realize just where Angrosh's hammer hangs, but don't cripple him if you can avoid it.
And what happens if I do find signs of necromancers or the Kreutzer cartel?
Then the guards would finally have a reason to search the whorehouse. The cartel would have to realize that too, and that would prevent any disputes. So that's why you have to go, lad, and no one else. If my people show up in Kreutzer Alley, there's sure to be trouble with the cartel.
I get it. Tell me more about this brothel. Why do you think that the brothel owner is interested in a necromancer's services?
I'm sure you've heard. The necromancers had their way in Warunk for years. Eventually the people just got used to them.
The Rondrians pursue necromancers and demon worshippers mercilessly. And you think that doesn't help?
Lad, I've seen people who've gone to their deaths rather than change their habits. That goes for normal Warunkrians just the same as it does for the Kreutzer cartel. And, unfortunately, even for my own lads. Sometimes you have just to live with the fact that people have preferences that stink to high heaven. There's nothing you can do except hold your nose. The Thorned Rose is in Kreutzer Alley. You'll recognize it by the ugly human women on the balcony. The ones dressed so indecently.
And how can I recognize the owner?
His name is Tiakranor. That's all I know.
You said the Kreutzer cartel was blackmailing the owner of the brothel.
At least I can well imagine that their leader, Parel, will soon try. After all, the business is producing more and more gold. We can't allow the cartel to grow any more powerful. If we can get a handle on that whorehouse, then maybe we can finally open a shaft.
What?
We get a chip off the boulder. How do you biggins put it? A foot in the door. We have to be able to show our presence in Kreutzer Alley without starting a war with the cartel. That can only be done when people are not afraid. Just recently, a civilian came to me to report the theft of a piece of amber. It had a symbol of the sun god Prius carved into it. Right, the stone, not the man. At any rate, he hasn't dared to accuse anyone. And the only ones who come to mind are the Kreutzer cartel. Nothing is sacred to them.
Could Folk of Arivor have something to do with the whorehouse?
By Angrosh's beard, are you mad? Do you not ken what you're saying? I mean, I can't stand the bugger myself, but he must have really pissed on your leg if you're suspecting something like that.
Oh, I have my reasons.
Well, I can't say aught about that. Maybe you'll get a few pointers from the girls in the brothel. But, in truth, no Rondrian can afford to be seen visiting the whores. Bad for morale and so on. Especially if there really are necromancers involved there. The Rondrians would burn the owner at the stake. And they'd be damn well right, for once.
Do I hear a little aversion to Rondrians there?
They may be honourable warriors, but they let others do the dirty work. And the first time you tell them the truth to their faces, out comes the two-handed sword. Many of them only see the world as black and white, fire and water. They forget that there's something in between. The grey, the mud. Let's talk about something else, lad.
Again, but slowly this time. What exactly does this city guard in Warunk do?
One cannot simply abandon the city to itself, or the cartel. Then everything would go to the dragon around here. We are responsible for the lower town, at least for the part the Rondrians grabbed for themselves.
I see. After the liberation, they took their share of the spoils.
Right, we are Margrave's Sumadan's people. That's why we keep ourselves out of the affairs of the Rondrians. Ha! If they have their way, the whole city will soon be holier than a temple.
And what role does the Kreutzer cartel play?
They're criminals, interested only in their profits. Smugglers, thieves, and murderers. And their leader, Parel, is the worst of them all.
Tell me a little more about yourself.
I'm Fergalosh, son of Farug. 85 years' experience in battle. The last 20 as a mercenary leader. Many of my lads are still working for me.
The Rondrians liberated Warunk, and at least in the western city, they rule pretty strictly. So why does the city need a guard?
Ah, Rondrians! The people fear them, but they don't respect them. No wonder with all that talk about honor and loyalty and such. I'm telling you, lad, you have to know the people to lead them. And I know the people. That's why I'm the sergeant around here.
Fergalosh, son of Farug. I think you're hiding something from me.
So not only are you good with your fists, you're a fine, bright lad as well. Yes, I'm interested in the brothel. And not only because of necromancy and the Kreutzer cartel, but the other matter is purely private.
Come on, Fergalosh. If I were to tell anyone else, no one would believe me anyway.
Yeah, fair enough. So, the whores are having a lot of trouble with their customers. Many don't pay, and because the prostitutes have no rights, so to speak, they can't demand their money anywhere. That's why I want to bring the brothel under the guard's protection. Then we could make sure that the prostitutes behave more decently than they used to. And if all goes well, they could even start a guild at some point, so that eventually no one will need to protect them at all.
A whore's guild. And of course you want to have the brothel out of pure altruism, Sergeant, right?
Insolence! Father Angrosh himself invented the guilds in his divinity. If the guard earns a wee bit from it, well, that would benefit the whole city.
I'm reassured. So I'm supposed to beat up the brothel's owner.
You should realize just where Angrosh's hammer hangs, but don't cripple him if you can avoid it.
And what happens if I do find signs of necromancers or the Kreutzer cartel?
Then the guards would finally have a reason to search the whorehouse. The cartel would have to realize that too, and that would prevent any disputes. So that's why you have to go, lad, and no one else. If my people show up in Kreutzer Alley, there's sure to be trouble with the cartel.
I get it. Thank you for your trust, Sergeant.
You accept the assignment?
Yes, Sergeant.
Excellent. The owner of the Thorned Rose is Tiakranor, and you'll find him in Kreutzer Alley. Good luck, Chiron.
Those snobs in the upper town don't care whether we eat dirt down here or die on our own shit.
Do you even know which end of a sword to hold?
I'm glad to be in here. I hear people in the West Town are rocking.
How may I be of service? Interested in a couple of assignments? All done? Great. Here is your reward. All done? Great. Here is your reward. All done? Great. Here is your reward. Very good. Tell me when you're done.
I'm glad to be in here. I hear people in the West Town are rotting alive.
Waronkians, keep your city clean. Whoever kills a dozen undead rats and delivers them to the temple shall receive an entire bowl of good soup. Be noted, a good character witness for the deeds
Don't
must
say a
be
word.
named,
I can see from just
whom
looking
the
at you
Dion
exactly
shall
what you need.
seriously question in case of doubt.
Those snobs in the other town don't care whether we eat dirt down here or die on our own shit.
Greetings, nice to see you again. Which reminds me, it would seem I still do not know your name.
Chiron. Why so formal all of a sudden?
You're in the city now, Chiron. Here one tries to cultivate somewhat better manners. Your presence tells me that you are interested in taking on an assignment. Or are there other questions I can answer for you?
You said something about a job.
Well, here in town, there is a delicate balance of power, you know? And sometimes we have some differences of opinion with the guards. And then there are people who take neither us nor the city guards seriously.
What are you driving at?
The whorehouse.
Business slow?
Business is booming, but not for us. The new owner just doesn't want to join us. But, and this is strange, not the guard either. He's earning a mint, and all the other citizens can do is watch. I ask you, is that fair?
And what exactly am I supposed to do?
I want you to pay the owner of the whorehouse a little visit and suggest that he give the community its share. There is, of course, a reward.
So I should make it clear to this brothel owner that he has to pay the Kreutzer cartel.
Maybe he wants our protection. Make it clear to him that he is sure to be better off with us than with the guards. His name is Chakranor, a rather shady character. The brothel is called the Thorned Rose and is located in Kreutzer Alley. You should be able to recognize it from its balcony, where some of the whores are always on show. Basically, it's a squalid, rotten hole. Be very careful you don't catch anything.
How nice.
And while you're at it, you could also chase down a rumour. It's said he also employs necromancers and undead. It would not hurt for him to realise that those days are now over.
And why are you sending me, of all people, there?
A precaution. If the city guard has anything to do with it, at least you won't cause any unnecessary suspicion on Sergeant Fergalosh's part.
Necromancers and undead in a whorehouse. That sounds peculiar.
A lot changed in Warunk under Razazor's rule. If you ask me, people hate change. Some just don't like giving up old habits.
That's disgusting.
That's as may be, but there are rumours that some city guards are regular visitors to the brothel.
What about the Rondrians?
Oh, please, Rondrians hate necromancy, and they're much more disciplined than we are.
What about the guards? Do they sanction the brothel?
My guess is that they themselves are interested. It is conveniently situated in the middle of Kreutzer Alley. They could have their fun and watch my people like hawks at the same time. In any case, our truce with them is already fragile enough. The brothel owner should therefore decide just whom he wishes to join. Otherwise, the time for talking will soon be over.
Namely, the Kreutzer cartel.
As bravely as I may defend free trade, I even more passionately espouse the freedom of choice. In addition, Sergeant Fergalosh would restrict the brothel's operations or even forbid it. The whores would go hungry and no one would have anything.
Could Folk of Arivor have something to do with the brothel?
Folk of Arivor? The highly acclaimed Rondrian? What makes you say that?
Let's say we had a little difference of opinion.
Are you serious? You want to take on the Rondrians? I should tell you that they don't play around, even though the idea does amuse me.
Do you know anything more about Folk? Or the Rondrians? Anything?
Yarkon of Turyalev is their leader. He's not in Warunk right now. As far as I know, he's escorting a caravan from Baluk. That makes Folk the most powerful Rondrian here at the moment.
Is that all you know?
I tell you what, while you're helping me out here, I can ask around a bit.
You call yourselves the Kreutzer cartel?
Look after the Kreutzers and the Talers will look after themselves. I too started from scratch.
But Kreutzers, the most worthless coins there are, and that's what you named your cartel after?
Nah, but it would be a nice idea. So modest. We call ourselves the Kreutzer Cartel because our headquarters is located in Kreutzer Alley. From there we govern all Warunk, with the utmost of discretion and reserve, of course.
Kreutzer cartel, headquarters, underworld, and you're telling me all this. What if I simply set the guards on you?
They could try. Once.
And then? Kreutzer Alley, wasn't that the center of the resistance against the necromancers?
Oh yes, they were real heroes.
Someone betrayed them. They were all killed most painfully, and then their bodies had to dance for the necromancers.
Oh, you mean the rebels? Yes, they were very brave too.
2? You think the necromancers were braver?
Well, they were better for business. By the way, I knew the guy who denounced them. Didn't live long.
They fought to free Warwick.
Then let us agree on one thing. Even if they didn't achieve anything, the rebels were very, very brave.
What exactly is your role in the Kreutzer Cartel, Perel?
Basically, I'm a trader. I can get you everything you need. Just recently, I was able to acquire a piece of amber dedicated to Prios, and I sold it to a smuggler. Which reminds me, I never saw him again. Well, maybe he's away on a trip.
So you do business, on the quiet?
The Rondrians and the guards try to inspect all of the food and building material coming into the city. The origin of the goods must, in their opinion, go beyond the merest shadow of a doubt. Goods may only come from pious cities. None of the others would trade with the Rondrians. That only leaves the city of Balunk, and we're as dependent upon them as a baby is on its mother's breast. That leads to rationing, to starvation and compulsion. The Kreutzer Cartel opposes this tyranny because we stand for freedom. Others call it smuggling. How defamatory.
So I should make it clear to this brothel owner that he has to pay the Kreutzer Cartel.
Maybe he wants our protection. Make it clear to him that he is sure to be better off with us than with the guards. His name is Chakran, a rather shady character. The brothel is called the Thorned Rose and is located in Kreutzer Alley. You should be able to recognize it from its balcony, where some of the whores are always on show. Basically, it's a squalid, rotten hole. Be very careful you don't catch anything.
How nice.
And while you're at it, you could also chase down a rumour. It's said he also employs necromancers and undead. It would not hurt for him to realise that those days are now over.
And why are you sending me, of all people, there?
A precaution. If the city guard has anything to do with it, at least you won't cause any unnecessary suspicion on Sergeant Fergalosh's part.
About your assignment. I'll think about it.
I'll wait here for you. Just let me know once you've decided.
dirt down here or
Warunkians, keep your city clean. Whoever kills a dozen undead rats and
those snobs in the old town don't care whether we eat dirt down here or die on our own shit.
That's Cairo.
Interested in a couple of assignments? All done? Great. Here is your reward. Very good.
I'm glad to be in here. I hear people in the West Town are rotting in life. I wouldn't wander around here like that if I was you. Better to keep your head down. Here, you can have a knife across your throat faster than you can say for feck's sake. Piss off, and no stupid looks neither. What are you looking for round here? Punch in the head?
Come on, you get me and my sister together. She's already cold though. Don't be like that. I still need at least 2 more customers today. Don't be like that. I still need at least 2 more customers today.
Piss off, and no stupid looks neither.
Now, if it isn't the strapping lad from the refugee camp,
You should put your money pouch in your shirt. No need to make it easy for the cartel. better to keep your head down. Here, you can have a knife across your throat faster than you
Now,
can safe effects
if it
sake.
isn't a strapping lad from the refugee camp, here shall be your mighty sword.
Forgive me, darling, but the brothel is closed today.
Closed.
The girls have their day off today.
I have a message for Tiakranor.
Message? What kind of message?
I can only explain it to him personally. Where is he?
I don't know. You should go now. Please be so kind as to leave the brothel.
Unfortunately, I won't be able to leave until I've spoken to Tiakranor.
Who sent you? Was it Folk?
Absolutely. His Grace is very angry about the conditions in this house.
But he was only here yesterday.
And he has decreed that your dissolute ways will no longer be tolerated. You are to put your affairs in order immediately.
Then you must help me. I beg you. I beg you. Jack Renault's gone mad. He wants to send all the girls to the Dark Mother.
He wants to kill them? Why?
He wants to turn them into the undead. He says it will be cheaper and better for business.
Well, that really does sound insane.
It's because of the plague and contagion and some special requests. Please, please hurry!
My help is not free, madam. Let's talk about my reward.
If you help me and my girls, I'll make you part owner of the Thorned Rose. Half. Once we are rid of Chakranor.
I agree. You mentioned the Dark Mother. What exactly did you mean?
You don't know the Dark Mother, sir. She is the mother of the family beyond. Her husband is the Fiery Father. And then there's the Seeing Son and the Deep Daughter too, but we have to keep that quiet, right? Tiakranor says, thanks to the Dark Mother, death is no longer a limit, but only a threshold, and many new challenges await those who died in the afterlife.
You think the Archdemon Thugunitoth is the Dark Mother, and the other family members are also Archdemons. Agrimoth, the Destroyer of the Elements, Blackaraz, Master of Revenge and Hatred, and Charybdoroth, the Relentless Drowner.
Ha! Archdemons here, archdemons there. Those are the new gods. The old gods didn't look after us either. At least you can see what the new ones are doing.
Then there are others who consider the Dark Mother to be the reincarnation of Marda, the goddess of magic, and her son Borbarad, the ruler of the forbidden knowledge.
Excuse me, but that really is heresy, you know.
What was Folk of Aravor doing in the brothel?
He and Tiakranor seem to get along well. They're sort of friends.
Then Aravor supports Tiakranor's intention to turn all the girls into undead?
I don't know, but the other day, a girl who talked a little too much died. Falk doesn't want his name mentioned. Yes, the Lord of Aravor is simply a little more modest than other Rondrians. They never come here otherwise.
Why haven't you told anyone? Half Warunk would give anything for this brothel.
To whom? The Kreutzer Cartel is still only interested in profit. Tiakranor's new business idea would suit them just fine. The Guard isn't represented strongly enough in Kreutzer Alley and they demand proof before they do anything. And if the Rondrians find out, they'll hang us all.
I thought heretics were burnt, not hung.
It used to be that way. Nowadays the firewood is used for construction.
Explain to me again why Tiakranor wants to turn the girls into undead.
It was the plague. Before the Exodus, many of the men who came to us were already ill. They wanted to enjoy their last days. But that also infected many of the girls. Tiakranor eventually started resurrecting the dead girls in order to protect the living.
And you were probably happy to help whenever customers wanted to have special wishes fulfilled.
No, it wasn't like that. These people always just came to look. Tiakranor told me that he only resurrects the girls as a reminder of life under the necromancers.
And you believed every word, of course.
What could I do? I was afraid.
My help is not free, madam. Let's talk about my reward.
If you help me and my girls, I'll make you part owner of the Thorned Rose. Half. Once we are rid of Chakranor.
I agree. Enough. Where's Chakranor?
Use the door. Hurry, please.
Ah, Chiron, welcome. I was told that you were coming.
Who told you?
Your patron, Folk of Arivor. He said that you're interested in sowing a few wild oats.
Oh, really?
Don't worry, I have a number of the most willing girls for you to choose from.
What has Folk told you of my wishes?
You shall receive whatever you crave. You can have any number of girls if you so desire. You can return them when and in whatever condition you wish, Mr. Chiron.
How generous.
I have always found Folk of Arivor to be generous. A fine man, and the only Rondrian to frequently honor my house. But be so good as to not mention anything about my new business idea to him. I would rather tell him in person.
I heard you have a new business idea.
Well, it's not really a new business idea. When the necromancers ruled here, there were brothels like mine everywhere. If you will, I'm just reviving an old tradition. And as you see, I do pretty well.
You certainly do. But what about your girls?
The girls are grateful to my people and me for helping them cross over to the Dark Mother. They have nothing but benefits from it. You look at these beautiful creatures, my masterpieces, tireless, invulnerable, and immune to all disease. Do you find the girls delightful too?
No, not really. The Exodus seems to have been good for your business.
Actually, I had nothing to do with it. It just so happened that Gamut was encouraged to lead the sick forth at a certain point. Folk said it would be better for both me and my business if the patients were not infecting my girls anymore. That was very considerate, but no longer really necessary. My people had already enabled the first to cross over to the Dark Mother.
Folk ordered Gamut to lead the exodus of the sick out of the refugee camp.
You would have to ask His Grace of Arivor himself, for he knows Gamut far better than I.
Enough! I'm not here for sex.
You're not? But I was told you were coming.
I don't give a damn what Folk of Arivor told you.
Who the Nameless sent you here?
I am here on behalf of the city guard. Sergeant Vergalosh will tolerate your actions no more, Necromancer.
You can't touch me. I'm under Folk of Arivor's protection.
I will go when I'm done, and your people are not going to harm these girls.
You cannot stop me, Karen. First, the girls will go to the Dark Mother, and then so will you. Men, let the transition begin!
I had to take drastic measures.
Maybe Chakranor will like it with the Dark Mother. In any case, thanks for the help. Please, check up on my girls. Maybe you can even save some of them from crossing over. I cannot thank you enough.
Don't mention it.
Oh well, there's a bit of work needs doing now. Someone will have to run the Thorned Rose. I'm sure my new partner won't mind if someone experienced looks after the girls.
For a share.
Business is business. You will know that both the City Guard and the Kreutzer Cartel have an eye on this house.
You'll have to choose one side or the other.
Yes, that would probably be best. It would be good if we were protected and wouldn't have to take too much of your time.
So, who do you choose?
Decisions. I'm terrible at making decisions. I want you to decide for me. Here, take the deed. Give it to our new protectors.
I think I'm going to report Falk's contact with Giacomo to his superiors.
Are you a Warunkian citizen then?
Not yet.
Then no one will believe you. And the Rondrian Metropolitan Yarkon isn't in the city right now. That means you would have to turn Falk in to himself. That might be a bit difficult, don't you think?
What if the City Guard were to protect you and gain more power in Kreutzer Alley?
Well, prostitution isn't forbidden in Warunk. We could just keep the business going. We used to often have problems with people stiffing their bills and we never had anyone we could complain to about it. That would change. Maybe we could even start a guild at some point. On the other hand, Fergalosh is extremely fervent. Many customers would go elsewhere for their enjoyment and we would have to go hungry sometimes.
Why's that?
When you get to know a man, you have to find out what he is used to. With the guard watching us, we couldn't offer our customers everything they're accustomed to.
You can't seriously want to serve those habits again.
They're just little things, my friend, with underwear, without, things like that, guaranteed. But our neighbours won't be happy to see the guard coming and going all the time. Kreutzer Alley is still cartel territory.
What would happen if I were to choose the Kreutzer Cartel?
Perel would gain more power in Warunk and would do good business with us. The girls could decide for themselves whether they want to work alongside the undead, but I can also imagine that the cartel wouldn't be too gentle with them.
What do you mean?
I know they're kind. They would beat the girls just to demonstrate their strength. If they were out of the way, though, we could do what we want. In the end, it would certainly be good for business. And with the cartel controlling the smuggling, we would finally be able to eat properly again.
I think I know who I'll give the deed to.
Well, if that isn't timing, we have visitors.
Sergeant, what are you doing here?
Sounds of battle from a brothel. No horse to be found anywhere in Kreutzer Alley. Sounds as if you had a spot of trouble, lad.
The rumors were true. Giacomo was having the girls killed and then raising them again as undead.
Drax Radra and earn even more money that way. I hope he's already on his way to the nether hells.
Giacomo is dead, and Dolorosa will now take over as manager of the Thorned Rose.
So, it seems I came just in time to see the guard poaching in foreign territory.
Get lost, Perel. The Thorned Rose is ours now.
Fergalosh, old friend, may I remind you of our truce? It would be very unfortunate if we had to return to our former behaviour.
Maybe the gentleman would like to allow my guest to get a word in. That will certainly help to clear matters up.
It's true. One of you will be taking the brothel under his protection in the future.
You don't really believe that the Kreutzer cartel will give a single foot of ground in this matter?
I hope you've thought it through carefully, lad. If you choose wrong, there will be war.
I want Fergalosh and the men of the city guard to protect the brothel. They will ensure law and order.
That was the right decision, lad. You're a decent man.
The city guard is supposed to take care of a whorehouse? That is so ridiculous it makes you want to cry. But the cartel has understood. We'll meet again, gentlemen, and may the new gods then have mercy on you.
Dolorosa was satisfied. Thanks to the city guard, the Thorned Rose and its inhabitants were spared any further attacks by the underworld. Necromantic machinations were now a thing of the past, and no one cheated on their bill anymore. The establishment of a Hordes guild was finally within reach. The price of this security was that now many customers stayed away, for they missed the excesses common under Tiakranor's rule. Clalandra's groom was never seen there again. Most denounced the rumors of Falk's inclinations as offensive and implausible. At least they did whenever strangers were listening. Last but not least, Fergalosh's truce with the Kreutzer cartel was broken. The guard began to prepare themselves for a major confrontation, another opportunity for Chiron to make a name for himself in Warunk.
Hi there, sweetie. Now, if it isn't the strapping lad from the refugee camp, wanna show me your mighty sword? Now, if it isn't the strapping lad from the refugee camp,
In the window.
wanna show me your
And there, in the bushes. Eh? Keep your eyes open. Oh, business is going well, my friend. What are you looking for round here? Punch in the head?
People of Warunk,
That's Chiron.
be reminded that
Interested
every
in a
death
couple
must
of
be reported
assignments?
to the Metropolitan, and each body delivered unto the Deons.
All done?
Anyone who
Here is
refuses
your
to
reward.
comply and continues to exchange dead bodies for cash is now considered deaf,
And may I be
and
of
will able
service?
do without one of their ears. Hear ye well. The days of the dragon are over. Mistress Rondra, be praised.
Now my brother's in jail. Just because the bloody
Freed
guard-
city. Freed of hope, maybe.
What do you want? Get out of here before I have you skinned!
Please, Perel. For a moment I had lost my trust in you. It was stupid of me.
Ah, mistrust. Chiron. I understand. I mean, we hardly know one another. If we continue to work together, I'm sure things will improve. And that, my friend, brings me to my next offer. A most lucrative assignment beckons.
What is this assignment?
The guard will escort a magician named Fyodor Briganti to lock him up in their headquarters. Up until now, he has only been under house arrest at his home in Kreutzer Alley. That meant we had access to the learned gentleman. We cannot allow that to change.
What's so important about this mage? Do you need him for the fight against the guards?
He's a free spirit with a wealth of knowledge about many areas of mysticism and magic. In these times, a very valuable treasure indeed. The guard may not be giving us any trouble at the moment, but we must be prepared for anything. Then, too, my horoscope says that I should surround myself with wise men. While that is always useful, perhaps it's especially important right now. So, Chiron, my friend, get me Theodore and you shall receive an appropriate reward.
Folk of Aravor is involved in some dirty business that a normal Rondrian could never countenance. How can I ensure that he's toppled from his throne? Will you help me, Perel?
Chiron, my respect. You're playing for high stakes indeed, and your game is called Win or Hang.
Falk will never marry my sister. I'm gonna find evidence that he's deceiving his order. Then he must fall.
Evidence? Evidence is the last thing you need, my friend. Before you try to move against Falk, you will need citizenship in Warunk. Only then will anyone believe you. I checked with all my informants. There is no evidence against Falk.
If I accept the assignment, can you get me citizenship?
I could put in a good word for you with Margrave Sumadan of Bragelsaum.
The Margrave takes the Kreutzer cartel's wishes into consideration?
My people play an important role in supplying the city. Margrave Sumadan knows that he needs the cartel. Furthermore, it can't really be in his interest if I were to do business with foreigners. That would be like smuggling.
Why is this Fyodor under house arrest? What has the guard accused him of?
He was charged with free thinking. He was arrested after a public dispute. Just wanted to get his ideas across.
Whatever for?
The Rondrians punish freedom of expression strictly, but the guard had arrested Fyodor before the Rondrians even got there. Useful idiots, my friend, locking such a valuable man up in a house which just happens to be in my Kreutzer alley. You could say we had a bit of luck. And Fyodor was lucky too. Normally, people are hanged for heresy.
Exactly what part of Fyodor's knowledge is so important?
You could say it's a matter of principle. The Rondrians forbid free thought because they believe it leads to people being seduced into pacts with demons. They call people like Fyodor heretics and overlook the fact that the world cannot be divided simply into good and evil. Now, one can say that we must protect our people from demonic temptation, but I believe that everyone should decide for himself about his soul. And if he wants to be a servant of demons, so be it. I would almost say that I feel a sort of spiritual kinship with Fyodor. I'm looking forward to meeting him.
What is this assignment?
The guard will escort a magician named Fyodor Brigante to lock him up in their headquarters. Up until now, he has only been under house arrest at his home in Kreutzer Alley. That meant we had access to the learned gentleman. We cannot allow that to change.
What's so important about this mage? Do you need him for the fight against the guards?
He's a free spirit with a wealth of knowledge about many areas of mysticism and magic. In these times, a very valuable treasure indeed. The guard may not be giving us any trouble at the moment, but we must be prepared for anything. Then, too, my horoscope says that I should surround myself with wise men. While that is always useful, perhaps it's especially important right now. So, Chiron, my friend, get me Fyodor and you shall receive an appropriate reward.
What kind of reward is in this for me?
If you prefer a personal reward, I will make sure you get one. I am a generous man.
All right, Perel. I'll take your assignment.
Good. Go to the middle of Kreutzer Alley, eliminate the guards, and bring Fyodor to my people. You'll have to do it on your own. I also can't leave anyone to watch you. Everything is based on trust. And in the meantime, I'll pull a few strings. My people do not need permits. They're decent Warunkian citizens. You see, my friend? Oh, wait a minute. something I wanted to ask you last time. Have we met before?
I don't think so.
Well, maybe you just remind me of someone. See you later then.
Freed city. Freed of hope, maybe. My daughter's only but skin and bones.
Now my brother's in jail. Just because the bloody guards wanted to have someone guilty.
My daughter's only but skin and bones.
In Rondra's name, what else do you want?
Is there anything you have to tell me?
I already heard that you completed it. Now you may return to your kin with a clear conscience. May Rondra bless your sword. Maybe there is some good in you after all.
Thank you. Farewell.
Kyron, nice to see you again. Can I help you?
So, Rika.
See you soon, Kyron.
You have already caused us enough disgrace. Be glad you can now at least enter the city.
Just a few pieces of pepper.
I'm glad to be in here. I hear people in the West Town are rotting alive.
My daughter's only but skin and bones.
That thing in the alley, that shadow, and there, in the window, and there, in the bushes. Keep your
drift
I wouldn't wander around here like that.
Now, if it isn't the strapping...
Theodore?
The proper salutation is Learned Scholar Mr. Brigante, or at least Lord Magus. Who are you anyway?
What does it look like? The Kreutzer cartel has sent me to bring you to a safe place. Learned Scholar Mr. Magus.
The Kreutzer cartel? Interesting. Well, I voluntarily entered house arrest, and I will voluntarily comply with your request, not just because you wish me to.
Do you really think the Guard picked you just for the fun of it? The truce with the Guard has been broken. The Kreutzer cartel sent me to bring you to safety.
The only security risk here is obviously you yourself, good man. Without your intervention, I could have just as easily remained in the custody of the city guard.
Is that what you want, then?
And there,
Well,
in the bushes.
In truth, I'm still undecided.
Keep your
as it
eyes
were.
open.
Might I learn a little more about you, Magus?
Magus probatus sum. I am Fyodor Brigante, Adeptus Major member of the Great Grey Guild of the
Now that the
Spirit,
guard
a
is
graduate
here,
of the School of
sometimes
Spiritual
even see people
Travel
with
in
the
Belhanka.
So only a heretic, and not a necromancer.
Are you trying to insult me? There are significant differences between an educated grey mage and a simple necromancer. Necromancers! Better yet, those who pact with demons. People like that just toss their souls into the same cesspit that is home to the demonic TGT. My soul belongs to me alone and nobody else. And if there were more public education, more people would come to this simple conclusion. By the way, if you were better educated, you would never have asked this question in the first place, my good man.
There, in the window.
I have a
There,
question
in the
about a
bushes.
magical phenomenon.
Eh?
Maybe you can
Keep your
help me.
eyes open.
Of course, Nandus is with the Inquisitive.
I've never had a hint of magic in me all my life, and now suddenly something has awakened within me.
Intuitive, elemental, or demonic? I mean, maybe you're possessed.
It had something to do with
Now
the
that
mixing of
guard
blood.
is
It
here,
feels like
sometimes even see
I
people
were
from
using
the
other
outside
people's
down
life force to do magic.
Borberadian? And you claim you knew nothing about it? Don't act like a fool, man.
I'm not a Borberadian. I never learned to use blood to do magic. It just happened.
Look, this is completely
Oh,
implausible.
business is going well.
Borberadian magic requires years of practice and a sound education. This gift can't have just come to you out of the blue. It could have come from the Nether Hells, but that would have required truly potent demonic activity.
It wasn't like
wouldn't
that. I
wander
never
around
sold
here
my soul.
like that if I were you.
Very reasonable.
It's your life.
Can't you help me at all?
You seem to have a very powerful patron who is not too particular in his morality. He will likely know more. Or the outbreak of the gift was an accident. Then you just have to live with that power and hope that you die
should put your
before
money
anyone can
pouch
claim your
in
soul
your
in
shirt.
return.
No need to make it easy for the cartel.
Do you know the Rondrian folk of Aravor? Can you tell me anything about him?
Folk of Aravor? That's right, one of the Rondrians. I'd completely forgotten him. He is also far too worldly, far too libertarian.
I wouldn't wander around here
You think
like
he
that
is a
if I were you,
libertarian?
but
Infinitely libertarian. Infinitely unbelievable. He who knows no boundaries would simply burst. That alone makes him dangerous. Ha! And someone like that is the Metropolitan's deputy, while serious scientists are called heretics.
What heresies has he spread?
We once had a
in the
philosophical dispute.
And
That
there,
in
in the
itself is
bushes.
remarkable for
Eh?
a Rondrian.
Keep your
What
eyes
really
open.
frightened me was his detailed knowledge of blood magic and demonology. I would have expected a Borberadian to possess that knowledge, but not a priest of the goddess of war. Do not misunderstand me. Borberad was a demigod, and
I
many of
wouldn't
his
wander around
teachings
here
breathed
like
the
that if I
spirit
were
of
you,
freedom.
but
But ultimately, his
life.
arrogance brought him and his disciples to fall. Interesting. The hubris dialogue is a transcendental problem, the dilemma of master and servant potentiated within arcane karmic interdependency. Conclusion, the man is suspicious.
I wouldn't
Do you have
wander
other
around
questions?
here like that if I were you, but
What do you think of Fergalosh and his people?
Fergalosh believes he represents law and order here. He competes with the Rondrians, which is logical considering the fact that he is paid by the Margrave. He considers me a troublemaker, and therefore wants me behind bars.
Piss off, and no
It took a lot of
stupid
convincing
looks
to barter
neither.
him down to a house arrest. You said the truce is broken. Then it is logical that Fergalosh wants to have me brought in. He is afraid of my potential. But a free spirit cannot be constrained by any walls. You can be certain of
You
that.
should put your money pouch
For a
in
free
your
spirit,
shirt.
there are no
Make
walls
it
at all.
easy for the cartel.
Ergo, to me, it does not matter one whit whether I'm at home or in the Guards' headquarters.
What do you think about the Kreutzer cartel's goals?
Well, one cannot really call them goals.
You
The
should put your
Kreutzer
money
cartel
pouch in
is a
your
loose
shirt.
alliance of
No need to
cutthroats
make it
and
easy
chicken
for the
thieves.
cartel.
Basically, the cartel is nothing more than an ordinary neighborhood. Well, ordinary for a city where for decades one could not be certain as to whether the ruler had again sent a bad dream or his own brother-in-law really turned to dust at the touch of sunlight.
Business is
Without the
going well,
urbane Mr. Parel, not Gelf, these people would be a godsend for any kind of soul catchers, demon worshippers, priests, and gods know what else. Even if Parel wears the mantle of the free spirit like a feathered headdress, his aspirations are purely
wander around here
material.
like that if I
Basically,
were you,
the cartel is not a good environment for a reputable scientist. On the other hand, it is sometimes quite useful to know the smugglers.
Just come with me, Magus.
I do that
You
which
should
my
put your
will
money
commands.
pouch in your shirt. No need to make it easy for the cartel. Oh, business is going well, my friend.
Don't be like that. I still need at least 2 more customers today.
Alric, Nandus's blessings upon you. How are the offspring?
Thank you. Well, how did you know?
How do I know your name? Nandus's ways are inscrutable, Alric. I also know your wife, Magic, you see?
My wife?
I hope the Magus will remain safe.
Yes, of course. Thank you. Parel will reward you richly. Right then, Magus, come with me.
See you soon, young man. Maybe I'll come over to visit.
Piss off, and no stupid looks neither.
Hi there,
I
sweetie.
wouldn't wander around here like that if I were you.
Don't be like that. I still need at least 2 more customers today.
Put your money pouch in your shirt. No need to make it easy for the cartel.
Get out! I don't need anyone who plays into the cartel's hands behind my back.
I had my reasons, Sergeant. Listen to me.
I don't want to hear your reasons, lad. I'd well love to cut off both your hands here and now. But Warunk needs good fighters. And because you remind me of someone, I'll give you one last chance to make amends for the damage you did the city.
This is an important decision. I have to think it over.
Do not think too long, lad. I'll wait for you here, but not forever.
Thank you very much for delivering the scholar to our care. Here is the promised reward. I have a new assignment for you. Very important matter concerning the welfare of the people. Interested?
What is it?
The citizens of Warunk are starving, and they are no longer willing to put up with it. They are going to storm the armory and take what is theirs.
The arsenal, is it well guarded?
The armory contains building materials, weapons, and above all, food. Fergalosh has assigned many men to its protection. You understand, Chiron? After Warunk was liberated, they considered using the old Rondra temple as an armory, but someone prevented it.
Who?
Falk of Arivor. Ah, I knew that you would like this information. At any rate, the armory is located in the East Town. My men and I will help the citizens with their attack.
Seems to be a serious matter. What do you want me to do?
The cartel is very impressed with your fighting skills, Chiron. Therefore, you shall act as a vanguard for the citizens as they fight for their rights. Shake on it, and you become the hero of Warunk. Sounds good, doesn't it?
Why do you want your people to help the citizens attack the arsenal at all?
Because everyone here has a right to receive enough food to survive. But even the bare necessities are denied them. No law in the world can force them to starve in silence.
And there's nothing in it for you in the cartel, right?
The answer may surprise you, but I actually find pleasure in the thought of doing something good for the citizens. I've had enough of watching this misery. Starvation, disease, oppression. The Warunkians have already seen enough of that. Even the Exodus hardly changed the citizens' situation, and nowadays the refugees are eating us out of house and home. The Rondrians, the Margrave, Fergalosh, no one has been able to help people here, but I will.
Will the Rondrians also be involved in the fight?
As far as I know, the Rondrians know nothing of the planned assault, and I think it should stay that way. We won't deal with the Rondrians until the balance of power with the Guard is clarified. Let's see how they react when the cartel is loved by all. Good bait catches fine fish, I always say. For now, we'll just cozy them along.
Don't you think that the Rondrians would suspect you if there were an uprising?
I maintain a good relationship with the Rondrians. Just the other day, I was able to supply them a new executioner's sword. It seems the old one was lost. However, there may be some complicated negotiations after the storm. We need to think carefully about who gets what and how much. Sometimes I wish that Tokka was here. He would be a great help.
Who's Tokka?
An old business partner of mine whom I really miss. Also human. But enough talk. We don't have much more time.
Why did Falk of Arivor prevent the Rondra Temple from being used as an armory?
That is very strange, isn't it? Why keep an old, discredited temple? Especially when it was a brothel named Rondra's Tits during the rule of the Necromancers. The old Rondra temple is much larger than the current arsenal, more practical and easier to defend.
You mean Falk has a good reason not to give up the old Rondra temple?
You know, Chiron, the Rondrians are not all alike, even if they act like a solid block. Some are behind the Metropolitan's strict policies, some are not. From what we know now of Falk, his opinions on many things will differ in many ways from those of Metropolitan Yarkon. While Yarkon wants to cleanse the city with fire and sword, Falk is much more tolerant.
The one says, hang those who packed. The other says, forget the past. You have to look to the future.
An old and a new temple. Two great symbols for a city where every citizen has at least 2 dead bodies in the basement.
Falk is currying the favour of Warunkians and therefore plotting against his master, the head Rondrian Yarkon. Evil but brilliant. Oh, and by the way, the people love grand weddings of the high and mighty, and then with a girl coming from a life of poverty, cunning.
That's enough, Perel.
All right. I didn't mean to offend you, Chiron.
I've got the picture.
If you prove yourself in the attack, Chiron, then you're one of us. The Kreutzer cartel will take you in and forget everything that has gone between us.
That will make me the mortal enemy of the entire city guard. Is that really the price for my citizenship?
One can't have everything. I will keep my word. The rest is up to you to decide.
This is an important decision.
You don't have much time. Speak to me once you've decided. I'll wait here.
Interesting.
People of Warunk, fear the demons. Renounce their temptations and defy their servants. True salvation comes solely from...
Well, lad?
I'm listening.
The Kreutzer cartel is planning a revolt. They want to storm the armory.
Storm the arsenal? Why?
They want to eat up all the provisions, steal building material, and weapons. Even if they are poor bastards, I cannot let that happen. We need every man to defend the arsenal.
Is the armory really that badly fortified?
Unfortunately, yes. It's just a simple, half-timbered house in the east town, hard to defend. I recommended using the old Rondra temple for an armory from the beginning, but folk of Arivor prevented it. Hard as granite, the rotter. So, lad, here's your chance to prove yourself. Will you fight for law and order, or not?
Why don't you give the hungry enough to eat?
And give in to the Kreutzer cartel's intrigues? Never! We can't condone anyone breaking the law. If the starving mob storms the armory today, they'll be standing in front of the Prince's palace tomorrow. I won't allow Warunk to sink into chaos just because a couple of hungry people can't wait for their rations. We would like to distribute even more food. The Rondrians would too, but the refugees from the surrounding areas are literally eating the beards off our faces. Cursed soil produces little wheat. All the food must be brought from the coast, and we can't keep distributing it fast enough. Oh, if Fargosh were but here, he could help us.
Who's Fargosh?
Fargosh was my brother. I lost him. Let's talk about something else.
What about the Rondrians? Will they be involved in the fight?
No, I'm not letting any twisted lion worshipper stick his nose into my business. This is a matter for the Guard. To be precise, a matter for the Guard and the Kreutzer cartel. If they want to challenge us, good. We can determine the balance of power once and for all at the arsenal.
In the end, the Rondrians will find out anyway. Wouldn't it make more sense to work with them?
This is going to be a dirty fight. They'll be happy they can stay out of it. In addition, it's bad enough that the Rondrians control the west and upper city. The east city must remain Guard territory. That, even if they are insulted, I'm sure the prisoners know something about the sword the Rondrians lost.
You want to take prisoners, Sergeant?
We're certainly not going to kill half the city. After all, I wouldn't want to be inhuman. You ken the drift.
Why did Folk of Arivor prevent the old Rondra temple from being used as an armory?
I dunno exactly ken. Guess it's just greedy and wants the Church of Rondra to have 2 temples. The new one in the upper town and the old one down here. As I said, the old Rondra temple would at any rate have been more spacious and would have been much better suited than the arsenal. Now that I think about it, Folk bears a certain responsibility for the rebellion.
That's strange. Why does he want to keep a temple that used to be a brothel called Rondra's Tits? Especially when a new one is being built in the upper city.
No one can be certain that the temple was really desecrated. Many Warunkians would be pleased if the Rondrians were to reopen it. I mean, yes, many are of the opinion that the whole occupation thing should finally be put to rest. No wonder, seeing as how they all used to fix their scales anyways.
Well, that would fit everything I know about him so far. He doesn't really take the honor part too seriously.
Trax Radoshel, he's dividing the Rondrians. That means even more trouble. Hopefully, Metropolitan Yakon will return soon.
Just to make certain, what exactly is the assignment?
You help us to defend the arsenal against the rebels. In return, I'll admit you to the Guards. That's your shot at citizenship in Warunk.
I don't need any more information, Sergeant.
One more thing, lad. If you help us, you'll become a member of the Guards. You don't have to wear a uniform or aught, but after that, you're one of us.
You're going to not only make me a citizen, but a guard as well? Then the Kreutzer Cartel will do anything they can to harm me.
Law and order. That's Warunk in a nutshell. Anyone who doesn't like it doesn't belong here.
I'll do it. I want to belong to the Guard.
Excellent. Then we'll meet at the armory in the East City.